Hello. Part of the challenge of being told that you need to wash your hands well is that you may not have been taught how to wash your hands well. So just a brief introduction as to how we need to wash our hands. Now, I'm lucky enough to get some of this. It's kind of a hot commodity right now. It is hand sanitizer. This does do an effective job in killing things. However, when we use it more than 10 times in a row, then you get a film on your hands and it becomes not as effective in killing all the viruses off or any other bacteria, etc., because that film allows things to hide underneath it. So every at least 10th time you use this, you need to wash your hands. It may be even safer to say, every 5 times I'm going to go wash my hands with soap. We know that soap specifically does kill this particular coronavirus that we're battling, but it also does a myriad of wonderful things to a lot of other icky things that we don't want on our hands. So when you go to wash your hands, you'll know that friction helps kill things. It also helps get that soap into the viral envelope specifically that we're looking to get it in right now. But it also, you don't need super hot water. So if you use scalding hot water that's steaming, you can actually break down your skin. And when you break down your skin, it allows those things to kind of embed in there and hide from the soap. So we want to use just warm water. The friction, again, is the more important component of this than the temperature of the water. So use a comfortable temperature. We're going to use a lot of friction. We're going to be moving around. We're going to use soap really of any nature. If you have antibacterial soap, that's perfectly fine. And then we are going to make sure that we have our other supplies that we need. Because once we touch the faucet and turn it on, just like me touching this coffee cup here, I'm going to touch it all over, drink out of it because it's full of goodness. And then I'm going to put it down. Well, if I go to wash my hands, being good, diligent human, my hands are clean, but then I go to touch this surface again, I've just reinfected my hands. So the same concept is true with a faucet. So once you touch to turn it on, it becomes a dirty object. And we don't want to retouch the dirty object with our clean hands. So paper towels ready at the use are good. And also if you think about another high traffic infected area, that would be the doorknob. So you're in the restroom. You have to get out. How are you going to do that? Have a plan of, I'm going to have my paper towel to open the door, then I'm going to throw it away. Don't just throw it on the ground. We don't need to be disgusting during this time. But have a backup plan as to not touch those surfaces now that you have clean hands. Now, ultimately, your hands are going to become reinfected. That's just the way that it is. In my office here, I wash my hands after going to the bathroom, and then I come back, and I'm going to touch this. This is a nasty little office edition, and my hands are going to be reinfected. So frequent washing is going to also be your friend during this time. Don't assume that just because you washed it once that you're going to be safe for the day, because that's just not true. You're going to be touching your cell phone probably 75 million times a day and taking all your selfies, as my students do, sharing things on any social media or talking to your relatives or sharing them on your phone. Whatever it may be, you're going to be touching a reinfected surface. So just remember, go back to washing your hands. It's especially important. Wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. If you're going to make food or eat food, wash your hands before that. Maybe you wash your hands, prepare the food. You know you've touched a lot of surfaces. Give yourself a little splash of your hand sanitizer or wash your hands again. So we just want to keep going back to washing our hands, getting that soap in there, and making sure that virus dies away because we want to remain healthy. A couple components of hand washing. We know friction. We know no super hot water. We know soap. Once you put it on your hands, it's very easy to just do a quick thing and rinse. Well, that's not necessarily going to be long enough for that soap to get into that viral envelope and infect it and make it explode, if you will, and go away. So we want to spend some time washing our hands. Some people say sing the ABCs. Some people say sing Lady Gaga songs. I'm not going to sing anything to you because I am not a delightful singer to listen to. But whatever your choice, we want to do it for at least 15 seconds, maybe up to 30 seconds, and making sure we're scrubbing. If you know you're a bad hand washer and you get distracted easily, choose a longer song. Just sing A Whole New World by Aladdin. I mean, get into the Frozen 2 song. something that's going to take you a little longer. One of the things is these fingernails. They like to hoard a lot of stuff, especially if you have acrylic nails or gel-based nails. The longer they get, the more easily things hide underneath it, and it becomes really quite nasty. So one, if you choose to, do not wear acrylic nails during this time. But if you have an absolute predilection to having to have these nails, then you need to figure out a way to get underneath there and get those clean, because you're harboring not only the coronavirus, but potentially a lot of other things under there. So I was thinking about this the other day, maybe even taking a toothbrush solely for your hands and scrubbing underneath those nails. And every time that you wash your hands, you scrub with soap under there for a good period of time. If you have shorter cut nails, as is the best case scenario right now with the spreading of any virus or disease, then what you can do to wash them is you have soap on your hands already, you've done your precursory friction rubbing, and then you're going to take the tips of your fingernails and you're just going to rub it on the surface of your hands, getting that soap underneath there, going a bunch of circles, rub, 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 scrub, 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 so that you're getting underneath there. Another commonly missed place would be right here, between your pointer finger and your thumb. This area right here seems to be missed. So even just coming up, making sure that you've gotten that whole palmar surface and the top of your hand clean. And then you can even go in and get your wrists. You don't necessarily have to scrub your whole body in hand sanitizer right now. That would be very drying. But definitely your wrists. If you have a watch or you wear a ring like I do, you need to leave them on when you wash. Because if I take my rings off, I took one off. If I take my ring off and I put it down and I'm just washing, and then I'm so proud that my hands are clean, well, I'm going to pick this ring up from the counter and then I'm going to put it back on, and now I've reinfected my hands. So leaving that ring on and scrubbing it will help keep your jewelry clean as well. Also, when you're washing your hands, you want to, this is awkward sitting down, a downward motion, so that if you're going like this, like in Grey's Anatomy, the surgeons are ready to go into surgery. The problem is you're going to have water rushing all the way down, and then you go to dry them off, and all of a sudden the water goes back to your clean hands. So downward motion, going to grab our paper towel, we're going to let the water go out into the sink, and then we're going to dry our hands off. Now this whole time the water's been running. That is okay. If you turn it off and then turn it back on and then turn it back off, you're going to reinfect yourself. So the water's running as we were scrubbing our hands. We've rinsed them off in a downward facing motion. Now we dry our hands. Now we're going to take our paper towel and we're going to turn that faucet off, leaving no contact with our hand in the dirty surface, but rather this paper towel is taking one for the team. The paper towel is going to take one for the team with the doorknob as well. You can imagine, think about in a bathroom. Everyone who does not wash their hands touches that doorknob. You are sharing in their pee and poop germs, simply put. And I personally would not want to touch those germs, let alone it being the coronavirus, which could infect me and cause harm to my body. So I don't want to touch those germs. I'm going to use this paper towel, open the door, I'm going to throw it away. And that is a simple explanation as to how we're going to keep our hands clean during this time. So again, 10 or less uses each time. We're going to scrub in between. This is great, but it's only for short-term use. You need to get back to the soap. You're going to scrub 15 to 30 seconds. You're going to get under those nails. You're going to get to all surfaces of your hand, and we're going to do my little downward motion dance, and we're going to dry our hands off and not touch those dirty surfaces again. Frequent hand washing will help you during this time. It is something that you can control, and sometimes control gives us ease during times like these. So I hope you learned something. If not, then you were just irritated by my explanation. But thank you for coming, and we will see you again soon.